Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. It's yet another one of these videos where, quite frankly, I'm just kind of at a loss for what to say about the Board of Investment here in Thailand. I thought your job was to adjudicate concessions for foreign investors. You know, as we've discussed in other videos, they unilaterally decided they had the power to issue work authorization when I've never seen that authority vested to them. And let me be clear, I'm well aware of what the Immigration Act of '79 says. Yes, BOI has certain powers with regard to visas, and they can issue certain types of visas. Where'd they get the authority to unilaterally issue work authorization? Then meanwhile, people will tell me, well, what about the one-stop system? Yeah, the one-stop system is exactly what its name implies. They put both an immigration apparatus component together with a Labor Department apparatus component in one place where you can go for one-stop service. It doesn't mean that BOI inherently has labor power. The ability to authorize foreign labor in Thailand directly. I've never seen where that legal authority exists, and I'm happy to stand corrected, but I've talked about this for some time now, and I read the comments and stuff when I do these type of videos. Nobody's ever been able to show me where BOI gets the authority to unilaterally authorize foreign labor in Thailand. I don't get it, but maybe I'm not smart enough to understand, and that's certainly a possibility. Happy to stand corrected if I can find some citation. As of yet, I haven't seen one. Meanwhile, talking about tax, yet again, here's BOI talking about tax, and in such a way that it looks like they have something to do with tax policy. Where did that happen? It's the Revenue Department, the Finance Ministry deals with that. That said, I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. I actually found this in the print edition, credit where credit's due. A viewer actually sent this to me. I went and looked it up online, bangkokpost.com, but I'll post what was sent to me by the viewer. Again, just credit where credit is due here. That said, quoting directly, the Board of Investment is planning to launch measures to ease the sting for multinational investors based on a new government tax plan for foreigners. Quoting further, and they talked to a government spokesperson that said, quoting further, he did not elaborate on the measures the BOI plans to implement, but said the board is talking with the Finance Ministry and other state agencies on the tax. And let me also, for clarification here, quoting further from further up earlier in the article, quote, under a new law being drafted by the Revenue Department, individuals residing in Thailand for 180 days or more must pay personal income tax on overseas earnings, regardless of whether that income is brought into Thailand. Let's get to the operative words there. It's draft. It's under draft consideration. This is not a foregone conclusion. And yet again, BOI is out there muddying the waters on things that, in my opinion, they really shouldn't be muddying stuff up on. This is being discussed as if A, it's a foregone conclusion, which I don't think that's the case. B, it's also discussed in this article as if we're already in OECD here in Thailand. When did that happen? Meanwhile, they keep talking about this global minimum tax in that same article, and I urge those who are watching this video, go check out that article in detail. But that said, when did anybody vote on any of this? When was this promulgated through due process through the parliament? The answer is it hasn't been. But it's being talked about by certain operators, if you want, out there in the ether of the media. And quite honestly, I'm pretty unhappy with the so-called legacy media at this point with these kind of muddying type of things where it's making it seem like these OECD plans, which have only recently been brought up here in Thailand, and when we did the videos on this, it was my understanding, because I cited it, that this would take 5 years. Meanwhile, they're talking about these draft pieces of legislation as if it's a foregone conclusion. Meanwhile, it's got to go through Parliament and the Cabinet. There's a million different processes that have to occur before a law is promulgated, and they're talking about it as if it's a foregone conclusion. Meanwhile, it's not a foregone conclusion, A, and B, we don't even know what an ultimate change to Thai tax law would look like, if anything. So they're talking about it as if they know what's going to happen. And then my question becomes, why do you think that? Is this because this is some kind of talking point or something handed down by the World Economic Forum? Are you pursuing a set narrative with a set goal and agenda? Or do we actually have due process of law here in Thailand where it actually goes through Parliament, Parliament then enacts and promulgates a law? Or is this some kind of one-size-fits-all plan for every nation around the world to tax all of their citizenry and basically suck out and extract all the wealth from all of these countries? And is it a project to do that because over back in Davos, where all of these elites meet, they've sucked out all the wealth of their own countries, desiccated those economies, and now they're looking to go suck wealth off from other nations? Because that's what it looks like to me. And quite honestly, if BOI is part of this, I find that appalling.